In the last video, I unveiled my 80,000 mile 1990 Nissan 240sx slick top hatch. The car is easily the cleanest 240 I have ever seen. I just need to put it together. So today, I'm going to give you guys a rundown of my plan for the build, how we're going to attack putting this car completely back together, and the insane list of parts we'll be using on this build. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to Avenged Media. For those of you who are new here, my name is Nick, and thank you to all the new subscribers who have hit that subscribe button over the last week. Since we've introduced the S13, it's just been going crazy, and I am so excited to see that you guys are as stoked on this car as I am. I did a pretty big overhaul on my Legacy GT that I would say is a pretty substantial build, but for me, this S13 build is just going to be representative of everything that I like in a car, and we just haven't gotten to do that completely with the Legacy GT. So this car really means something to me. I'm super excited for this build, and I love knowing that you guys are as well. But today I'm going to be breaking down my plan of attack of how I want to get this car rebuilt, and I've broken that out into 3 processes. So we're going to start with the interior. I want to get that all put back together so these interior parts that are absolutely perfect aren't just sitting around my shop risking getting broken, bumped into, anything like that. It'll just be in the car, clean, ready to go. From there, I'm gonna put the car up on the lift and we're gonna attack the suspension so we can make it actually a rolling shell and get it back on the ground under its own weight. And last, we're gonna be doing a full rebuild on this S14 SR20 DET. It's gonna be absolutely insane, and it's gonna be the perfect engine for this S13 restoration. I hope you guys are excited. Let's get into it. All right, so before we dive into the interior, just want to touch on a few things on the exterior that I didn't talk about last time. The car does have the R33 N1 vents, which is pretty cool. These go for big money. I could not believe when the previous owner told me what they were going for. He's also modified the license plate area here and further cut that out. I believe that's for better airflow. You obviously saw what was put on the lift last time, and we've got a second one painted, ready to go should anything happen to this. So that's pretty cool. Now let's dive into the interior. So like I was saying, the first thing we're going to tackle is the interior of this car, and I just want to get this put back together so that all of the interior pieces are in the car where they can't get damaged, they'll stay clean. And it's one major thing we can check off the list as we work to restore this car. So the first thing we need to do is get new carpet in the car. Now, unfortunately, that means taking this dash out to do it properly, just to get it to fit all up along the transmission tunnel. That's the best way to do it. So one of the first things we're going to be doing is pulling this dash out of the car to fit our new carpet kit in. So fortunately it did come with a brand new carpet kit. It's a nice heavy matte black carpet. Now these types of kits often do require a little bit of cutting. I know that going into it, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue, but this is definitely gonna go a long way towards making the interior of the car look brand new. And it's gonna look great against all of these interior pieces. I've started to unpack everything, and this is another area where you can really tell the low mileage of this car and just how well it was cared for, because these interior pieces are perfect. They're absolutely immaculate. So pairing this with the new carpet, with the seats that we've got, it's just gonna be incredible. And he's even sourced a lot of different parts that weren't factory to this car. For example, manual seatbelt conversion. This car came factory with the seatbelts that go down the A-pillar. So manual seatbelt conversion that allows it to have just the connection at the B-pillar. That's gonna be awesome. Behind the seats over here, it's got a JDM headliner that we're gonna use in the car. And of course, the Bride Zeta 2s. These are absolutely beautiful. I picked these up from Sean Stees on Instagram. Some of you may follow him. He's had a lot of cool cars over the years, but these were just in such good condition. I had to grab them for this build. And then we're gonna be using the Bride FG seat rails. So we'll get them super low because I am 6'2", definitely wanna have headroom in this car because these are not the biggest cars in the first place. But one of the big things for me with this car was just the level of care to which these parts were taken care of. You can see there's a bunch of more interior parts here that are still saran wrapped up. I'm gonna unwrap those when I'm actually going to do the install. These bigger pieces here, I believe, are the pieces that go up next to where the manual seatbelt conversion hooks up to, so you have to get different ones of those. Like, that's one thing I want to point out here. The previous owner had been sourcing a lot of these parts over the course of multiple years. So this is huge to be able to buy this car with this level of completeness and just the thoughtfulness that's been put into the part list. It's absolutely insane. But we've got the door cards down here. They are unbelievably pristine. You guys, it's gonna be so insane to see this interior put back together. It is, I'm telling you, it's as clean as the exterior of the car. It's gonna blow your mind. Then I've got a few more interior pieces up here. We've got the carpeted pieces that go back around the hatch here, this piece that goes up on top along here, but you can see just how perfect they are. It's absolutely insane. This stuff looks like it could be brand new. I'm telling you guys, this is the cleanest S13 I have ever seen. And when you guys see it together, oh, we're all gonna freak out together. It's gonna be great. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen me talk about this. If you're not following me on Instagram, you should, because I talk about a lot of stuff there before I get to it on YouTube. At Avenged Media on Instagram, definitely go follow me there. But this is from a company called Fitment Automotive in Australia, and I was really stoked when I found this piece because it's one of those detail pieces that oftentimes these things are destroyed, they're sagging. This is the spare tire well cover, and it's designed to look like an OEM factory one, which is super, super cool. Love the attention to detail. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in the back of the car just so we can see what it looks like. I can't even lie, that brings me an irrational amount of joy. That is so nice to see in there. Thank you, Fitment Automotive, for making something like this. This is so cool. It's things like this that are clearly made by enthusiasts for enthusiasts, and I just really appreciate these types of companies. So shout out to them, check them out. They make some other cool stuff. They make car covers for S chassis. I'm definitely gonna get one of those as well, but that is a great addition to the interior. So I guess we should probably kick off the suspension with the subframe, since that's what everything is gonna bolt to. So this and this are for the S13. That one's for the S14. They're all gonna get powder coated. The previous owner had done both the subframes in silver, along with all the stock arms that were being used on the car. Some are being replaced by SPL arms. So I'm gonna have the subframes powder coated black. That's just more my style. I like the OEM look of that, and then we'll leave the arms in this silver color. So we're gonna get the front one powder coated, and I need to take out these solid bushings because there's no way I'm running solid subframe bushings. We're already gonna have some solid heim joints in the rear that is gonna be stiff enough. So I'm gonna take those out and opt for some polyurethane one. So the interior of the car is incredible. Like I said, it's the cleanest that I've ever seen, but where I really think this build starts to take off and just go absolutely insane is on the suspension. As you can see, we've got the full SPL parts catalog here, just beautiful pieces. Got all new Moog bushings, we've got new end links. The axles were all rebuilt. I talked about this in the last video, but completely rebuilt, powder coated, just look beautiful. We've got the Nissan Z32 30mm aluminum brakes. These are like the most desirable spec in this, and I have just been absolutely blown away how clean these brakes are, to the point where I think I'm just gonna have them dry ice blasted and try to run the original finish, because I've never seen that done, because most of the time these things are just thrashed, and these are so clean, so clean. So got a full set of those, and that comes with the e-brake setup as well. And with the e-brake setup, I was able to find some new OEM Z32 cables. GK Tech does make these, but you know me, I love my OEM stuff. So we've got OEM cables. This is one here, one up here. We've got the e-brake shields. Like, this is gonna be so good, so good. And it just continues to get even crazier. I'm just gonna acknowledge this first and foremost, because 3 bags of zinc hardware, absolutely beautiful. So all zinc hardware for all the suspension. That should tell you right off the bat the level that we're going to with this build. Here's a power steering rack that I was talking about as well. So this is matched to the axles that are over there. We've got brand new tie rods that's gonna go on that. New boots that will attach once the tie rods go on. Nismo power brace. So we've got the same one that we're putting on the S14. That looks beautiful. And then all of the arms have been powder coated to match that. We've got the knuckles powder coated as well. I showed you guys the sway bars before. Those have been powder coated, but the arms haven't just been powder coated. They've been reinforced beautifully. These guys have been reinforced as well. You can see the whole bottom side. It's just absolutely incredible. It's gonna be insane to see these on the car. It's got a 5-lug conversion from Ichiba, which I'm told have been discontinued, but these were built with OEM bearings and are super desirable. So we'll have full 5-lug conversion for the suspension. And for coilovers, we've got a brand new set of Fortune Auto 500 series coilovers. We just installed a set of these on the Legacy GT, and I absolutely love them. So I'm super excited to use these on the S13 as well. These have, I believe it's a 10K spring in the front and 8K in the rear. But what makes these cool is they were ordered from, I'm forgetting the name of the company, but it allows you to basically get a custom colorway. So you can see these are all black collars, just super stealth looking. It's gonna look so good on the S13 with everything just restored on the bottom. Absolutely beautiful, I can't wait. And the suspension wouldn't be complete without a proper set of wheels. I have always wanted a set of work wheels. I've always wanted a set of bronze wheels. Giving you a little hint there of what color these wheels are, but let's go ahead and get them unboxed and show you what we got for this car. Oh yeah, we went with the Work CR Kiwamis, otherwise known as the CR Kais. They changed the name at some point, but these are brand new wheels in matte bronze. I absolutely love the color, especially against the red. Holy shit. It looks so good, you guys. So I went with a double staggered set. We have 17 by 9 in the front and then the 18 by 9.5 in the rear. This is a super popular setup on the S13 chassis in Japan. So taking a little bit of influence from that. I do want to run a nice meaty tire on this. I'm hoping we can either do a 225 in the front and a 235 in the rear, or potentially a 225 in the front and 245 in the rear. We'll see. But definitely not going to be running a super stance setup on this car. I want it to be able to grip. Okay, I was planning to set up both the front and rear wheels, but holy shit, I couldn't wait. Look how good those wheels and color look against the car. Oh my God. Red and bronze is just undefeated. It's absolutely one of the best color combinations, hands down. God, I cannot wait to see these on the car with some tires. Let's go ahead and get out the front ones and see what the 17s look like. I love this color. And it's crazy how light these wheels are. Just look how good that is. It's the best color. Fight me. It's always slightly nerve-wracking picking out wheels for a car, but sometimes you just absolutely nail it. I could not have asked for this to look any better. That bronze on red combo is something else. It looks so good. So these are a 17 by 9, I think like plus 20 or 22 in the front. And then we've got an 18 by 9.5 in the rear. So a little bit bigger wheel. And put a little more tire back there, but oh my goodness. It's so good. It's just so good. I love it so much. It's so good. I feel like this car just breaks me. It like makes me forget how to speak English or something. Oh my goodness, you guys. Wait till we get this car on the ground. It's gonna be something else. Okay, so now we can go back to the SR20 DET that we're gonna be putting in this car. So this motor did come with the car. I also have another SR20 S14 motor for my actual S14. But this one is a good one. The other one has a spun bearing. We're gonna use this one for the S13 and get it fully rebuilt. Now this did come with an RTEC turbo manifold, which we've got over here, as well as a Garrett G25 550. So same turbo and manifold that I am gonna be running on the S14, which is super cool. But otherwise, we needed everything else we wanted to rebuild this motor. So that brings me to this whole cart of stuff. I wanna give a huge shout out to Adam and Duarte at Drift HQ and the whole team down there. We have partnered with them on the engine build for now the S13, what was gonna be the S14, but we are doing a full engine build in this car. We're gonna go through all these parts in greater detail at another point, but it's a very similar setup to what Adam has in his green S15, full radiant fuel system. It's just gonna be absolutely nuts. We've got GTR coils, BC cams down there, full new engine gasket kit, the intake manifold. Now in the first video on the S13, I talked about this a little bit. I am gonna either be selling or trading this. My goal is to find a stock one and have that one vapor honed and rebuilt with all zinc hardware. That's just a little more my style. And for this car, like I said, this car represents everything that I love in cars and I want to represent the Avenged brand. So it's gotta be perfect. So we're gonna get that swapped out. We've got all of our radiator hoses here, Turbo Smart wastegate, Coil-Rad radiator. It's just got a whole list of parts, you guys. It's gonna be absolutely insane. This combination of parts easily could put down probably 450 horsepower or so. So we're definitely gonna need a clutch that can handle that. Right now the plan is to run an SR 5-speed transmission. I know people say these transmissions break a lot. I think a lot of that comes from drifting and being really hard on them. This car's not gonna be drifted, and I don't see myself absolutely beating on this, so we're gonna give it a shot. Hopefully it doesn't let me down. If it does, we'll replace it. And then we've got a whole pile of vapor hone and zinc powder coated goodness. I need to sort through all of this, but you can see various different engine pieces that have all been vapor honed and completely cleaned up and then packaged up until we need them. All the zinc pieces, and then different brackets. I know some of these need to go behind the bumper, so when we get the crash beam for the car, we'll install those when we take everything off. There's a transmission brace in here that has been powder coated. It's just absolutely nuts. So that brings me to the front mount intercooler setup. The previous owner had installed one of the Part Shop Max tucked front mount intercoolers. Now I love the placement of this because the intercooler piping would be super, super short, which is great for turbo response. The one downside of this is, as far as I understand, you cannot run AC. You definitely can't run a factory AC system, but what I'm curious about is if there's some sort of aftermarket solution that would allow me to run AC in this car, but connect to the factory components to keep all of the interior stuff stock. So what I'd like to do is put the Koyorad radiator in here, get that situated so I can take some photos of this setup here and see what my options are. If there's no way to run AC with this intercooler, I am gonna have to switch it out because AC is just a must for me in my cars. And if that's the case, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but we've got a couple different options. All right, got the radiator put in there. Looks great. Super cool to see just more parts on the car. It always is fun to see it just more complete in general. One thing I am noticing is that it's very tight tolerances over here. So I gotta see if there's some way to shift it just a little bit, because if that rattles against that for forever as the car is driving, it's just gonna wear on both of those things. But OEM radiator mount stays, all new bushings top and bottom, all from Nissan. So that's what that looks like in there. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, if we can run that front mount intercooler, it's gonna be a super nice setup, but like I said, it's not negotiable if I can't find an AC system that works with this. And you know, I gotta have that Nismo cap. So I got a Nismo radiator cap and also a Nismo oil cap that will be going on this build. All right, you guys, there are so many parts for this build. I tried to cover the most exciting ones and give you guys a good overview of the build plan for this car. It's gonna be absolutely ridiculous. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be one of the cleanest S13s on the street. If you don't believe me, hit that subscribe button because you're gonna wanna see it when it's done, and I'll tell you that I was right. But until then, I put 2 videos up on the screen. Check those out, and I will see you guys next time.